Recording, and JJ, take it away.
Well, good morning, everybody who's on the correct side of the U.S. For those on the eastern side, good afternoon. My name is JJ Johnson, and we have a wonderful panel today that's kind of a follow-up to Melody's fantastic keynote, which is a side note. I wrote every one of those 12 steps down, and that's one of the best 12-step programs I've ever been associated with. That didn't sound right, but anyhow. My name is JJ, and we're going to be going into it. I think I've killed my video. Just a second. I'm here somewhere. There we go. Perfect. Okay. And so our portion is leaning into leadership as a follow-up to Melody's keynote. And our concept is making your own adventure, because that's something that Melody was kind of emphasizing as she went through her keynote about opportunities show up. Let's see what we can do with them. We do really want to see and hear from you, and you're a very important part of our session. So we want you to please use the Q&A panel down at the bottom to ask your questions to us, and we'll start answering them almost immediately. But we want to go ahead and introduce our panel as we go through it. Today's panelists include Melody Buckner, who we just heard from, the Associate Vice Provost for Digital Learning and Online Initiatives at the University of Arizona in Tucson, Arizona. Andrea Bucklew, the Associate Provost at Alderson Broaddus University. And I'm going to botch this one even worse than Tucson, Philippi, West Virginia. She'll fix me for that. My name is JJ Johnson. I'm the Senior Director for Eastern Online and Instructional Technology Design at Eastern Washington University here in the tiny town of Cheney, Washington. Ashley Skylar is the Quality Assurance Online Blended Program Manager with California State University, Office of the Chancellor down in Long Beach. I believe they record a lot of TV programs down there. Robert Shields is the Director of Curriculum Development and Assistant Professor for Computer Information Technology at California Baptist University, Online and Professional Studies Division over in Riverside. And with that, let's go ahead and move into it. And we're going to start off with a little bit more from Melody, as if she hadn't told us enough today.
Yes. So I think you've heard quite a bit from me. Maybe you didn't go to the keynote, though, and you're just joining us. So I am the Associate Vice Provost for Digital Learning and Online Initiatives. This is a new position that I started in July. Before that, I was an interim dean for 3 years, where I transformed a branch campus from, well, it's still a branch campus, but it now has a college located on it, the College of Applied Science and Technology. And then before that, I was the, I don't know what my title was, senior leader or senior director for digital learning, which I oversaw a group of instructional designers and a creative team in producing online courses for our online program. And then before that, I was an instructional designer. So my top tips, which I used in my, my keynote, was to be kind, to be a listener, to be empathetic, you know, to really try to understand people's perspectives, to hire people that fill your weaknesses, and to be willing to try something new, and even if it fails, to move on, and to enjoy and appreciate life, because tomorrow is uncertain, as we all are experiencing. So those are who I am and my tips.
Very good. And thank you, Melody. And as you've noticed, what we're doing is a short bio, and then our top tips on our leadership styles and the way that we work through. And so that's kind of a prompt for your questions on how, not only how we've progressed through our leadership journey, but also some of the traits that we want to carry with us as we go. Our next presenter is Andrea. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Well, I am on the East Coast, so I guess I'm on the wrong coast. So I'll say good afternoon, but good morning to the rest of you. JJ did a fine job of introducing everyone. I am the current Associate Provost at Alderson Broaddus University in Philippi, so you're close, Virginia. If someone had told me 20 years ago that I would end up in the position I have now, I would not have believed that my journey would end up in this role. I do, however, firmly believe that people do end up where they're supposed to be. And over the years, I had some pretty strong mentors that nudged me so that I did lean into some of the leadership positions that I've held. I started as an adjunct and then moved into full-time roles and a variety of different leadership capacities. My start to online teaching was unplanned. My first came to me and said, hey, my university I was then working for got this grant to initiate online courses. I want you to teach one. And I said, not me. I'm not, qualified, ready. And he's like, no, you're going to do this for me. So that was a pretty strong nudge that first got my introduction into online teaching. Online leadership, after I accepted the associate provost position that I currently have, I was told that position would have two primary responsibilities: assessment of student learning and institutional accreditation. And so those are large enough areas. I was very comfortable with that. About a week before I started the job, the provost said, oh, and I'm going to add online learning to your responsibilities as well. So I really didn't even have any choice. That was another nudge into leadership and into this role. My top tips, I'll just kind of quickly cover them, and then I think we'll expand more during the Q&A, but find a mentor. I've been blessed. I had two very strong mentors at both of the institutions where I've worked. Very, very important to find someone that believes in you, encourages you, and that is a good sounding board when you have ideas or concerns or whatever. It kind of, Melody spoke earlier about needing someone you can talk to vent those frustrations. So find a strong mentor. Surround yourself with people smarter than you. Multiple heads, two heads, multiple heads are always better than one. So a lot of my success has been because I've been surrounded by other very, very smart and successful people. It's okay to say yes. So first time when my dean came to me and said, I want you to teach and develop and teach an online course, and my initial reaction was no. He eventually brought me around to yes, and I realized it was one of the best decisions I ever made. So it's okay to say yes to new adventures, new ideas. You need to lean into change. Change is going to come whether we want it to or not. I think we're all experiencing that right now. So change is going to come around. See that as opportunities and embrace it. One of the first terms, one of my very first professional conferences was a new definition for the word cave. Colleagues against virtually everything. You can't be a dweller. Very few cave dwellers make it into leadership positions. So you need to lean into that change. And then last week, JJ and some of us were talking, and we said maybe add a leadership team for times of emergency like we're certainly faced with right now. And the other members of our CAT, we've had to become very comfortable saying, I don't know, over the past few weeks. This is really changing, and it's okay to not have all the answers immediately. Better to say I don't know and find the right answer than to give a wrong answer. So we have to be comfortable at times with saying I simply don't know. But every day is an adventure. I look forward to it. I hope that you find some value from what I and my fellow panelists have to say. And so with that, Jay, we can move on to.
All right, thank you. And I guess it's my turn.
Yes.
And as I said, I'm the senior director out here at Eastern Washington University for Instructional Design and Technology. But this is my second or perhaps my third career. I am a 20-year retiree from the United States Army, where I was a non-commissioned officer, and I learned leadership skills the Army way. Sometimes it's not the same way as we would do in academia, and that's been kind of a hard nut to crack for me. But my primary time in higher education for the past almost 2 years, has been with the military over on the western side of Washington State, where I was first hired to be a computer infrastructure coordinator and lab tech, putting all the computers together, making them work, and also getting our online education off the ground, which basically meant taking an old 486 box that we threw WebCT on, shoved it under a desk, and went, boy, we're online now. What do you know? Our first instructor was a psychology instructor, crusty old guy, but loved what he was doing once he figured out how to use a computer. And he just basically started moving our program out. After leading our military program on Joint Base Lewis McChord, as it's now known, through two different LMS transitions over the years, from an older version of WebCT to a Blackboard WebCT and to Canvas about 7 years ago now, I was asked to be the e-learning director over at the district side, and took over that as an interim for a couple of years, and then moved over to special projects at the district level. Not satisfied with being where I was at the time, I kept looking around. And one of Melody's points really kind of made sense. I'm going to paraphrase it. And that's, don't be afraid of the change, even when it makes you uncomfortable. My uprooting after living in the Tacoma area for over 20 years and moving to the other side of the state with my wife, God bless her for supporting me on that, was a big, big change. But it's been extremely fortunate. We're very happy here. And yeah, we're going to go back when I eventually retire because we want to be near the kids. But this was the best move for us. So my top tips are, first of all, seek the opportunities. They're not always presented directly to you. You have to look for them. You may have to dig some, but dig around. Make your networks because they help you find those opportunities. And not only find a mentor, and I think it's already been mentioned that several times, but be a mentor. One of the things I used to tell my soldiers, and I'll try to put it in family-friendly language, is nobody gives a rat's patoot about you except you. And as a leader, I want to change that. I want to make sure that my folks are able to be supported, not only for their professional goals, but for their personal goals. That includes academic goals. So find a mentor that can help you reach those levels. And the biggest one for me is become a servant leader. And a servant leader, you probably read a lot of the leadership manuals, say, well, that means that you supply your folks all the support they need to be able to do your job, or to do their job rather, because that's your job. And I firmly believe in that, that if I cannot help my designers, my technologists, my media people, even my program coordinator to improve and to be able to do their jobs, I'm not doing my job. So that's a really big one for me. The other one is never stop believing in yourself. And we've all heard a little bit about, yeah, we've had failures and some of them really hurt, but never stop believing in yourself that you can move forward and do it. The fake, I almost said Italian, the fake Latin below there was a motto in a unit that I was at. And basically it means don't let the dirty guys get you down. And one from the Army leadership after 20 years, a lot of it sticks with me, is know yourself and seek self-improvement. To me, those are the keys to be able to keep moving forward. Look forward, be a servant leader, find a mentor, be a mentor, and seek those opportunities that are out there. And for those who'd like to tweet, I'm at JJJohnson01. And I think a lot of us do tweet, so feel free to tag with me if you want to come out. And the next one is Robert.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Robert Shields, and I serve as the Director of Curriculum Development at California Baptist University in Riverside, California. So I'm originally from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I was working as an applications engineer for HVAC company. And I was really in a mechanical engineering type job at the time, but I really had a heart for pursuing IT career. So to make a long story a little bit shorter, I was kind of looking online and I found a position on Career Builder at California Baptist University. Never heard of it, but I inquired about it via email. They sent me a paper application in the mail. And so I filled it out and mailed it back to them. I went out to go visit my girlfriend at the time, who was in grad school out in California. And so I ended up having 2 interviews, and I remember on December 2nd, 2000, the person who was the provost at the time called me and said, okay, yeah, we'll do it. So I was definitely blessed to be able to start there. And I know that God had worked everything out for that role, because I found an apartment on the same street as my wife's school, which was Loma Linda University. But at CBU, I started off as a Director of Instructional Technology / Webmaster. At that time, we had no learning management system. So I got to work with our Vice President for Academic Affairs to choose our learning management system. And then also we had a website that was really a Web 1.0 website. We had about 80 pages total. It was just an online brochure, but I was fortunate to be able to be there for 7 to 10 years and be the university webmaster. From there, we opened an online division. And so we hired a vice president for online and professional studies, and we hired faculty that were really interested in making that change. There was quite a bit of pushback at the time from traditional faculty members, as we moved to that new medium. But over the past 10 years, the organization's really blossomed. In online professional studies, I started as a system administrator and then moved on to academics. And it was really because someone went to a different position that was serving as a dean, an assistant dean. So the position opened up. I didn't really feel quite qualified for the position, but I said I should really go for it. I had colleagues that really pushed me to at least try it. I actually told someone that I was going to apply for the position. Then I held off because I was like, I don't know. And then my colleague said, well, have you applied for it yet? And I was like, no. And she really pushed me to apply. I went ahead and did it. And I'm really happy with where I am now. I'm doing something that I really love, and I'm really able to use my skills. So the top tips that I have here, and as we talk about that, don't be afraid of or feel bad about applying for a desired position. I remember that I was working in IT and I loved my job in IT. I had a great supervisor and everything was going very, very well. I was fortunate to be selected Employee of the Year when I was working in IT for the whole university. And I didn't really have a big reason to leave because things were great, but I decided to make that change. And my boss totally supported me in moving toward that new position. And when you take those leaps, sometimes you open the door for someone else to come in and get an opportunity as well. Number one. And number two, be unselfish about developing other people. So it's good to surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. And I think about when I was pursuing higher education and pursuing my doctoral degree, I was really kind of up in the air about doing that, but people around me kept pushing me to do it. And they weren't trying to hold me back. They weren't afraid to see me succeed, but rather they pushed me and they pointed me in the right direction. So I really appreciate that. And they were unselfish. And so I believe that I can be unselfish as well in developing people. Preparing individuals for their next role. When I interviewed for this particular position, the person who's now my boss told me that in this position, I'm going to be working myself out of a job. And I was like, what? That's not what I want to do. I have 4 kids. So, but what he meant was that you don't want to put yourself in a position where everything depends on you. You want to be able to delegate and position people to keep the process moving forward, even if you're not there, or even if you move on, or if there's a succession plan that you put in place for yourself, you want to make sure that the process continues to go. And then we can all step up to the plate in emergency situations. And as we think about mission, and if we think about putting students first, when it comes time to deal with an emergency situation, that mission will really serve as a lighthouse and help everyone continue to move toward the right direction, even when things are chaotic around us. Thank you.
And our final panelist is Ashley Skylar. And I see you're already unmuted. Jump on in.
Thank you, James. So thank you so much for inviting me to join this great session. So in my current role, I serve as the manager for the Quality Assurance Blended Online Program for the Cal State University system. So I currently have been in this role going on my 8th year now. So, but it's absolutely enjoyable just working across a large system. So we have 23 campuses. So there's something different than and unique rather than working for one institution, but you're supporting all the campuses. So it's very just very worthwhile and inspirational working with so many people. But what I can tell you is that I truly have always been very passionate about technology, just kind of from the onset. So in my earlier career, I served as a special education teacher back in the 90s in Las Vegas, Nevada for 8 years. So just having the ability to inspire and infuse technology throughout my lesson planning, get other K through 12 teachers interested in using technology. I've just always felt that that was real important. So that's why I felt that, you know, in my tips, I think it's real important to just inspire and motivate others who have an interest or who are excited about learning new technology to really try to be there to support them. And additionally, in the K through 12 career, I also obtained my PhD in 2004. So I served as a tenured special ed professor at Cal State Northridge as well. Was there for 8 years. So while at that campus, I just served on a variety of technology groups, chairing the University Technology Committee for 7 years. So, and one of the tips that I did offer was just to offer to serve on any of those leadership projects. What that does is it really opens different doors, meeting different people, meeting different leaders. And then, expanding upon that, it can open, different opportunities for yourself. So while at Northridge, I served as the chair of the technology committee. We moved forward a new policy for online hybrid learning, got that passed, and I was recognized by my president at that time for my innovative leadership as a faculty member. So she actually recommended myself to serve on a system-wide, it was called, at the time it was called a CSU Online Working Group. And it was to kind of think big about online learning across the Cal State system. So I was really fortunate to be a part of that group because it really was with top leaders, administrators across the system. And that really opened more doors for me. So, it led more into my current position, but just really, getting to know those different leadership groups. I know Melody had made a comment about, make sure that you get to know everybody. Don't burn any bridges. Treat everyone with respect and just, because you never know where everyone's going to end up in 5 or 10. You're going to see those same people. So I think that's real important. As a tip is just to get to know all the different leaders, keep those relationships very positive. And I think I covered all of my tips, and definitely share your knowledge with others. So don't be afraid and, give each other inspiration and such. So thank you.
That's great, Ashley. Thank you very much. Now it's your turn. We want to hear from you. We already have one question up there, and I'll pose it to the panel in just a second. But to think about one of the things that I'm hearing a recurring theme through our little bios is that we're saying work with others, find others, support them, but also look for the opportunities to help support yourself. And I thought it was very pertinent too about don't burn bridges. And sometimes we want to use unfiltered responses to things, and that can backfire at times. But like that one person did with Melody in her example. But the other part is, how do we explain to people, other people outside of what we do? A lot of them don't understand. And so our first question comes from Lori, and she says, I am the QM leader of a high school district program. We have 13 in our DL program. I've been the only one so far to receive professional development. I've begged, pleaded, and pushed my colleagues into participating. They're not receptive to extra PD right now. How can I have my AP and Director of Instruction provide incentives to get them at least the rubric training? And I think it's a great question to put to the panel. And Andrea, would you like to go ahead and jump on that first?
Well, I would say that I've encountered a very similar situation, even in ed. And you can, as you say, beg, plead, prod, push, encourage as much as you want. Many aren't going to voluntarily seek it out. Right now, at this very moment in time, again, with the COVID-19 situation, I have a lot of faculty who have now said, I wish I had taken you up on that when it was first offered. So I sometimes have found that the best encouragement doesn't necessarily come from me, but it comes from their colleagues. So I think sometimes that's a disadvantage of leadership. I think sometimes many see an us and them sort of divide. So sometimes I try to get faculty who have gone through the professional development and have bought in to try to spread the word. I've found sometimes their voice is more effective than mine for whatever reason. So I'll let my other panelists weigh in at this point. But
very good. That sounds like build a guiding coalition which is a wonderful
Yes.
part of the 8 steps
Yes.
for organizational change. That's very good. Robert, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, I was thinking about our journey toward introducing our faculty to quality matters and creating a culture of quality assurance. And I was thinking about how we started. We started with creating a homegrown QM training. Myself, along with our instructional designer at the time, we had gone through the Applying the Quality Matters rubric training, and we had gone through the peer review certification training. And we really saw the value of the QM system, and we were encouraged by the fact that we were already doing some of the things that were key parts of the QM protocol. So we created a customized training, and it was shorter than the number of hours for the Applying the Quality Matters training, but we were able to customize certain parts to really match our faculty's needs. So I think that was well taken. It gave people an introduction to QM. There were opportunities for individuals as well to pursue further training, but at least by creating a customized, even a truncated version of the training, we were able to reach a lot of people. We started off doing a face-to-face training with our department chairs and our deans, and then we were able to create an online version of that with recommendations from that leadership group for all of our faculty. So we got to a certain point where, okay, I think it was summer 2018, everyone has gone through our online training, and then all of our courses need to be QM compliant at this point. So to answer your question, having a homegrown system really seemed to work well for us.
Okay, great. Thanks you, Robert. I'm going to ask Ashley next, and then leave it to Melody to play cleanup for us. But here's the focus of the question as I'm seeing it right now, is one, faculty are not really receptive to extra professional development right now, but the key is, how can I get my AP and Director of Instruction to provide some incentives to at least get them through the basic rubric type training? Ashley?
Okay, so just jumping in. So my system is a little more unique just because I work at the system level with the 23 campuses. And at the system level, we've had a lot of success with a couple different strategies. The first was initially when launching Quality Matters system-wide with our consortium subscription, our system vice chancellor at the time actually opened up QM training to anyone, any faculty and staff system-wide over the duration of like 4 months, and said, tell us, enroll in whatever you want. So I was enrolling people randomly throughout that summer at zero cost. So I mean, it can be a little expensive, but that was a way to just jumpstart the interest and get people talking about the buzzword. From there, we started an annual RFP where each campus could have up to 12 to 15,000 per year, and they would develop a plan and document some outcomes, and just thinking about what those activities might include. So, and since then, we're now into our 8th RFP that actually is going to be due in June. But that community has been very successful because we were able to have each campus identify a quality assurance administrator or lead. We meet monthly, and there's a lot of discussion. We provide system-wide training. So starting at the very initial, at the beginning, we only had about 200 plus people trained. Now we're up to about just over 5,000. So, but it really has been something that's grown over the last 8 years. It's not something that's in 1 year. And then we do a lot of recognition strategies. So each campus and myself at the system level, we have public facing websites that just recognize the faculty that have obtained training, benefits for serving as reviewers, benefits for completing training, list of certified courses, all of that. So any recognition that can be done to really promote that. And that's one of these strategies. Some of our campuses that are more initially starting Quality Matters, they really do a lot of promotion around people that complete training or obtain certification, because that really just gets that buzzword. Like Andrea said, you've got to start to really recognize and get people talking about it and the value there.
Great, thank you, Ashley. Hey, Melody, now
Yeah.
since you are in the lofty towers, so to speak, what would it take, and remember this is at the K-12 high school district area, what would it take for somebody who's trying to get something off the ground to get you to provide some incentives to help them get faculty interested in moving forward?
So this is a really great question, by the way. So thank you, Lori, for bringing it up. And I know K-12 functions a little different than higher education, but down at the human level, we all are the same. So what I find is there's 4 things that motivate people. And so we're going to go through those 4 things really quickly. Time, money, recognition, which Ashley just highlighted, and the last one is food. Okay, so so if you have a way that you can give some time to faculty, you know, for them to accomplish this, you know, maybe a release from an hour a day from their responsibility to do this within their time frame. And I know that's tough, but it's one way to think about it. Another thing is money. And I know money is often tight, but if there's any kind of small stipend that they could award faculty, even like Ashley said, you know, we're offering this to you free. We'll say, we're actually paying for this for you. So we're going to be paying the money so that they don't see it as just something free. There's now some value added to it. So it's how you market that. Recognition, I think Ashley gave a lot of great examples of recognition, but awarding them certificates. What we're trying to do, something that I'm trying to do in higher education, is making it part of the tenure and promotion. So making it part of their evaluation. So if you could even put that in a teacher evaluation, that they did quality matters, that could be part of their evaluation package. And then finally, food. Have a network where you have a faculty learning community where you bring people together and talk about you know, what they're doing with quality matters, and serve lunch or serve snacks or you know, whatever you can do to motivate them. So those are my 4 things.
Wow, this is really excellent. I don't know if you're getting the great information out of it. I know that I am. One of the things that also may help, Lori, is partner with other areas of your high school district. You may have an instructional technology group that you can work with to say, hey, can you get together and show us X, Y, or Z on how to use the technology to the best advantage for our students? And always looking at it with a student focus, which is what I think everybody's been focusing on, but looking to partner so that it's not a one-person show. I think it may really help out there. Very good. Thank you very much, panelists. We have another question from Penny Ralston-Berg, and it's a common theme that she's hearing, that we were saying, find a mentor. Find a person who believes in you. What advice would you give those who may not find that inside their immediate working unit or institution? And I just have to say 3 letters, and then I'm going to pass it on. It's PLN, and we can work with it there. Ashley, would you like to start?
Sure. So, so finding a person who believes in you. So I can tell you that only because I do work system-wide with 23 campuses, and I have had different faculty and/or staff that'll reach out to me thinking I have this big idea for them, but just asking, like, how do I get started? You know, who can I reach out to? I'm not getting any traction at my campus, and I'm real interested in doing X, Y, and Z. But my suggestion is certainly just network with people outside of your institution. And once you start to get recognized for those efforts and it comes back to your institution, they go, oh, we need to get on this boat. You know, we're missing something. So just, if you're not finding that supportive mentor at your institution, start seeking out those outside opportunities, other institutions within your system, or you know, I have co-presented with other Minnesota, you know, and it's I think working with other institutions like this, that really helps as well. Just start to spread that word and just get mentored as well.
My mouse doesn't want to cooperate suddenly. That's great. Thank you very much. Melody, how about you? Do you want to jump in here?
Sure. Hi, Penny. Penny is one of my favorite people in the whole world. So she's my mentor. I think it's finding people all around you that can mentor you in different areas. I even, choose some of my team members that I love for them to be my mentor because they have certain strengths that I don't have. And so I kind of try to learn from everybody instead of just picking like one person. I've had some people like ask me, oh, can you be my mentor? And there's a lot of responsibility with that. I think sometimes if you take on someone that they don't even know, like Penny, you don't even know that you're one of my mentors, because I love to watch you. I love to watch what you're doing. And you don't know that you're mentoring me, but, like reading your articles, reading, attending the things that you do, watching what you have accomplished and learning from that. So I don't know if you have to have that formal mentor relationship that's one-on-one, although it's nice, but then that's a lot of responsibility on that person. Sometimes it's just finding people that you want to learn a little nuance from, like Flower Darby. She's another one that I've kind of latched onto lately that I'm like, ooh, I'm just going to watch Flower and see where she's doing and seeing what she's going through and learn from her. So I think it's just building maybe not just one, but building a whole network of people that you're learning different things about. Even like one of my team members, she's a yoga instructor. And I'm like, oh, I've got to learn some things about yoga and her whole mindset of how she takes things on in meetings. I watch her and I learn from her.
Very good. Thank you a lot. And one of the things that I kind of clued in on here is we're expanding upon out of the organization, but not necessarily fully out of the organization, and with other people that can work with us or that we're watching. What did he say? Secretly watching others. It's kind of interesting. Robert, your turn.
So one of our mantras for this academic year from our provost has been honor up, honor down, and honor all around. And I think that sometimes when we look for mentors, we instantly look up. And we may be able to find mentorship in other areas by looking around us, looking at our peers, and then even looking at those that we may consider our subordinates, because sometimes they'll have ideas that you haven't even considered. I was just thinking about where I found mentorship. It wasn't from anyone that I reported to. It was from someone that I had worked alongside. And this person is actually the person that brought Quality Matters to our institution. And I was able to really get some great ideas and advice from this person when it came to providing balanced feedback and managing course design processes. So that would be my recommendation. Don't just look up for mentorship. Look all around you and look down as well.
Very good. Thank you very much. Andrea, can you add to it?
Well, there's not much I can add. I'm in the unenviable of being at the, but two immediately came to my mind when the question was read. And first of all, I think, Penny, you're in the right place because there's lots of mentors throughout all of QM. And so even though we're not able to have the face-to-face interaction, with this conference and the others, I still certainly anyone on this panel happy to speak with you and ideas and so forth. Certainly look within professional organizations like QM and others for people that might inspire you and be able to support you in your future endeavors. And then I would say, I know we're focusing on someone outside of your institution, but I would say don't give up on those people who are there. Robert said something that was very profound during his introduction. He used the term succession planning. And that's something that on my campus we've really actively tried to do over the past few years. people do retire, people move on, and so we don't want to be left with a hole. So we've been trying to identify people who might be able to fit into those positions. And sometimes if you can't or don't support those into the positions within your own institution, you find out that you lose them. So I think it's okay to talk to others around you and say, I'd like to learn from you. You know, as I move forward and progress in my career, can I sit in on this meeting? Can I observe this, whatever? So don't give up on those in your institution. You may not necessarily have to use that heavy word of mentor, but you probably can find some people who would be more than happy to support you in some of your goals.
That's excellent. Thank you, Andrea. One last thing is I was at an institution that believed in the out before up, which meant that if you wanted to get promoted, you would need to go outside of the institution. And then once you learn something worthwhile, you can come back in. I'm sorry, that's not a good leadership path for anybody, but the personal learning teams that you can come out with, the PLAs, is really a good way to go. And we've seen notes in the chat that talk about a couple of different things that you can use. One is if you can't find a mentor, look around you, talk to other instructional designers or those that are in the industry, either as faculty, staff, or even the leadership that's out there, and look at what they're doing, talk to them. Twitter, social media is a wonderful place to go and see what others are going on. I've seen folks out there, there we go, volunteer to serve on committees. That always helps, in addition to joining in on those sessions that are out there. Okay, so I have a follow-up question to a sense, or in a sense, and that has to do with comfort zones. Most of us find that sweet spot, or what we think is a sweet spot, as we start moving in our academic career, be it as staff or faculty, or even outside of academia and coming in. But how do you get past that comfort zone of where you are to be able to move to where you would like to be? And Robert, I'd like to start with you on that.
All right, well, thank you for that excellent question. And I was just thinking about how I am. I'm a tech trainer, introvert at the core, at the heart. I can come into the office and I can just sit at the computer all day and be perfectly happy in working on Blackboard and building things. But in the position that I'm in now, it's really a people job. And so it really took me out of my comfort zone to interact with people more and shepherd the process and provide mentorship from a course design perspective. So I've really focused on, and I hear people say that you shouldn't focus on your weaknesses, but there were areas where I needed to develop when it came to being more personally, and it's really helped me quite a bit in just doing some personal development in that area. That really helped me getting, and then understanding that I'm not the only one that struggles in those areas that I'm not comfortable in. So just really taking time to look at those weakness areas and just spending some time being honest with myself to say, I need to work on this. And that's really helped me a lot. And again, working with people that are able to really push me to move forward and allow me to fail as well. When I came into this position too, being able to know that if I make a mistake, I'm not going to get blasted. I had a leader that told me, what have you learned from this? Especially my first year in this role, I made plenty of mistakes, some of them small, some of them big. But just being able to know that it's going to be okay. I have support in that area. So there you go.
All right, well, thank you very much. Melody, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so, thanks, Robert. That was a really good answer. I think sometimes, going out of our comfort area kind of puts us in that imposter syndrome where it's like, oh, I'm not really this. And it goes to what I kind of talked about in the keynote about faking it till you make it. I certainly wasn't a dean. I don't even consider myself a dean now, even though I served as a dean for 3 years. And it was really, really outside of my comfort zone. And I think you just have to take it day by day, sometimes meeting by meeting, and just say, wow, I don't really feel comfortable in this. And then pretty soon, I mean, my first year of being a dean, I was really way in over my head. By my second year, I was like, oh yeah, I got this. And then by my third year, I wasn't an imposter anymore. I was actually a dean. So I think it's, you just kind of slowly grow into that area where you felt uncomfortable. I remember when I went to a private Christian high school. By the way, I grew up Baptist, Robert, so you'll appreciate that. And I remember, you know, they would say to us, of course, in our formative teenage years, and this has to do with that feeling more comfortable, but they say there's black and white, and then there's gray. And they said sometimes that gray area will turn to black when it used to be white. And I think, you know, they were talking about, you know, our behavior, basically. But I think you can also put that toward other things that, okay, this is black and white. I am this, I'm not this. And then there's that gray area. And if you slowly go into and that gray area is that uncomfortable area. And pretty soon what was white or gray is now black, and you feel comfortable in it. So I think you just kind of grow into it little by little.
Okay, great. We're going to go ahead and jump to the last question because we're cutting down on time here. But it's from Melanie Alicia Schimberger. How do you navigate the leadership trajectory without compromising collegial relationships? This is a difficulty that I've experienced and still do in the opportunities in which I am given. And Ashley, would you like to start us off there?
Sure. So kind of just listening to parts of the discussion, but I really feel like that throughout my professional career, I've always just pushed myself, you know, certainly as a K through 12 educator, I absolutely enjoyed working with the children and wouldn't, you know, but I knew that I wanted more and had to push myself more. And then continuing to move through that, you know, each different position I've had, I've just really, it wasn't that I was unhappy with the prior one. It's that I have this internal drive to better myself and I've always thoroughly enjoyed just training other people, getting them interested, motivated, excited about technology. So that's what's always been my biggest driver in pushing myself professionally is just the need to continue to move myself forward and grow. So
Great, thank you. Andrea.
Yeah, that's certainly, Melanie, a challenge. I think one of the most effective techniques that I've had in this particular area is by telling others around me, whether they're, you know, subordinate or equal or whatever, that I will listen to them. I can't guarantee I will always agree or do what they're asking, but I certainly will listen to their opinions and their ideas. And sometimes they're great ideas and we take them and we run with them. So I think just having that open dialogue, being willing to include them in the decision-making processes to whatever extent necessary is important in maintaining a collegial relationship. It's not always easy, especially if there are times of conflict or, you know, difficult discussions that you have to have. But, you know, transparency in the decision-making, open and honest conversations, relationships, and allowing some sort of input into processes. I found all of those have been very helpful in maintaining good working and collegial relationships across department, campus, and university-wide.
Okay, good. Melody?
Andrea, I think that was a really good answer to that. I think open communication is probably the biggest thing that you can do. Staying connected to where you've been, even doing some of the work. You know, with this COVID-19, we're having a lot of work, and we just had a hiring freeze. The university just came and said, you know, we can't hire anybody else, and yet my instructional designers are being asked to do more and more. And I'm stepping back, and I said, okay, I go assign me some courses to work on. I'll work on them. So being able to dive back into the trenches and say, okay, yes, I'll do the work that I expect everybody else to do. I always try to keep my finger and toes into other areas. So I teach, so I'm faculty. And so I understand that faculty perspective. So I think it's like being involved, and the communication is so important, so that you don't forget where you've come from as you go into a leadership position.
Great. Thank you very much, Ashley. Robert, we got just a couple of minutes, so jump on it, please.
Yeah, so I was just thinking about in moving to the role where I am now. I've worked with different people, and it's a challenging position because of some of the personalities that I get to work with, and it really helps me to understand that different people are going through different types of things. Coming into a more academic position, there were a lot of politics going on that I really had no idea about. It took me about a year just to understand the politics of working in academics versus working in a more IT related role. And part of it is just, for me, not taking things personally, because I was working, people knew me as the guy that would come to your office and install your laptop or crawl under your desk and fix something. You know, I was the system administrator, but then I ended up in telling people what to do. So just keeping a sense of humility, being able to appreciate people from where they are, and understand that when people have attitudes and they come at you saying, well, I remember when you were crawling under my desk to fix this, or just understand that people have all different types of things going on in their lives. Sometimes they're impacted by personal issues that we don't know about and we might find out about later. So just being patient with people, for one, understanding that, hey, I don't know where they're, what struggles they're dealing with, and just keeping a sense of humility. And as I heard someone say already, remembering where you came from, and that makes a big difference.
Very good. Thank you, Robert. And I guess we're going to need to wrap it up now. But my one comment to Robert is, it doesn't matter what level you rise to in IT, you're still the computer guy. So with that, I would like to thank our panelists, Andrea, Robert, Melody, and Ashley, for joining us in our Lean Forward into Leadership, Make Your Own Adventure. I hope you've enjoyed our session. And if you have any questions for us, you can contact us later. I think all of our information is available in the program. And if not, you can find most of us online. I don't know if everybody's active in Twitter, but some of us are. So thank you all, and I hope you enjoy the break. Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, JJ. Thanks, everyone. I'm going to share my screen to tell you what's coming up next. How do I do that? Right here. So just a couple housekeeping things before you go off into the lobby to get your coffee. I appreciate it. Since this is a virtual conference, there's not going to be any music to those little bells to bring you back. So come back at 11:20 Pacific. We will see you back here. In this room, we will have Q&A, and in the other rooms, there are those other options. So you have lots to choose from at the next session. We have heard, I've been hearing in some of the back channels, that some people are having to do a Zoom update. So if because they rolled it out last night, Zoom did. So if now might be a good time to run that update before you come back. So, and all the room information is in the conference guide. That is all I have. Yeah, there's no snacks. JJ, thanks for your connection on Twitter, but I'm going to go get me a Diet Coke. So this room is going to stay open. Thanks. But I will say thanks to everybody, and see you back here at 11:20. I am going to start demoting the people who have not left.
Demote. Oh no.
Demoting, here it goes. I'm demoting Ashley. Caption, I'll keep you up there. I think it's Faith, but if you come back, I'll do it. Bye, JJ. Bye, Robert. Brenda is here already. Brenda, welcome. All right, I am going to set up my other PowerPoint slide presentation. That's not the one I want to, so I'm going to stop sharing for one quick second. And this is the one that I am going to be sharing. Start from the beginning.
Hi, Jim.
Hi, Brenda. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Not bad. I need to share my screen again. Oh. Where did that go? Right here. Screen 2. All right, so this is going to cycle through for a couple of minutes while I run and do a couple of housekeeping things. But you are already a panelist, so you have power to do things as well. And then I will come back and start promoting people as they come in.
Do you want me to start promoting people now?
I do not know if you have the power. Maybe if I make you a co-host.
Oh, okay. No worries. I'll let you do that when you get back, Tim. Thanks.
Okay.